Okay, so let's set up our new folder. So let's go over to open folder here. There we go, and I'll just pick I'll go here to documents and just make a new folder. And we're gonna call this Ultimate JavaScript course. And enter here. I'm just gonna make a new one called Cookie Popup and create it and open it. Okay, there we go. Obviously, you can make it anywhere you please, but that's what I'm gonna choose. Okay, so now that we are in here, I'm gonna just make 3 files here that we're gonna use. First one is gonna be index.html. All right, so Shift1 and Tab is gonna generate an empty file for us, and we're gonna name this Cookie Popup. There we go. And now the other 2 that we need is style.css. And click plus again there, app.js for our JavaScript. Okay, so let's link these 2 together. We're gonna say link and hit tab /style.css. And down here, we're gonna add a script tag with a source of app.js. Okay, so everything is linked, everything is wonderful. So let's get that SVG in. So how are we gonna do that? Well, we're gonna go over to, let me open up Chrome here. And I'm just gonna Google cookie SVG. Again, if you don't want to do this, it's already gonna be in the starter files, but I really wanna show you how we need to set up an SVG to properly work with our animations, because a lot of times you are going to want to customize them and to break them apart into smaller pieces, because you might want to animate the crumbs separately from the cookie. You might have a character as an SVG and you want to animate maybe the bicycle and the scarf and his glasses or whatever all independently. So you need to actually import it either in Illustrator or Figma, break them apart there, and then import it in your code. So I just want to show you that whole process before we go into the second part. Okay, so cookie SVG, again, let me just look through these. I found a pretty good one. So here on SVG repo, and this is the one that I found. So I'm gonna just hit download on this one. That's gonna be downloaded there. And now the one I prefer to use the most is Figma. So if you're not familiar with Figma, don't really worry too much about it. Just go and download it. You don't even need to download it actually. You can just try Figma for free here. You can sign up with Google and you can start using it on the browser actually. I have it downloaded, so I'm just gonna open it here, Figma. So after you register on Figma, you're gonna be presented with a screen like this. So let's do the login and everything. Login. Again, it doesn't really make a difference if you're on the browser version or if you have the app downloaded. I'm just signing into my Google account now to get this up and running. Okay, open desktop app. Here we go. You cannot see it, unfortunately, because it's on my second screen, but there we go. Okay, so you should be presented with something like this. Okay, so anyway, yours is probably gonna be empty. What you really need to do is just go up here to the home symbol and click plus, okay? And you wanna choose design file. There we go. All right. And then you're going to be presented with a screen like this. You can hit the frame tool here and just drag outside like that. Now you have a bunch of presets there, but I guess we could do that. So you can just click on this and then you can go to desktop and look at this. You have all of these different kinds of resolutions. I don't know why they don't have the typical 1920 by 1080. So I'm just going to drag out like this. And here where it says width and height, I'm just gonna type in 1920 by 1080. Okay, this is the most popular resolution that you're gonna see out there. So this is gonna give me a good sense of the scale of how big the cookie is gonna be. So it's quite nice to actually import it here, get a feel for it, maybe do a little design of it, and then export it. So what I'm gonna do is, yeah, just get that cookie that I downloaded and drag it in here. All right, there we go. So now that I have the cookie in here, whoops, let me close this up. So I want to close it up here actually in the frame tool so I can just select the whole thing. I don't know why it actually doesn't let me do it. So I'll just drag my cursor over it and move it here, just like that. Okay, so now you have quite a bit of options here. You can customize it to your own liking. You can change the color of this if you want to, make it a bit darker. So this basically selects all the colors from the SVG and allows you to change them. So there we go. Again, I'm gonna just leave the default here. All I really want to do here, okay, now it works. That was a bit strange, is I just want to separate the crumbs from the actual cookie. So what I'm gonna do first of all is click on it and then scale it down. Now, as you can see, it doesn't scale it nicely. So what I wanna do is hold Shift and scale it down. Now, if you wanted to keep it centered, you can hold Shift and, not Command, that's not the one, Shift and Option, or Shift and Alt if you're on Windows. You'll scale it down like that. Okay, I'm just gonna zoom in here. And what I'm gonna do is, if you click once, that's gonna select the whole cookie. But if you double click, that's gonna select whatever is inside of the cookie. Okay, so what I wanna do is just double click here until I select this first crumb here. And I'm just gonna go over here and rename it to something else. Okay, so I'm just gonna go here and on the left side here, just call it crumb. Actually, we don't even need to do all of them independently. We can just grab this whole, let me see how they actually grouped it here because it can be quite wild. So the one I selected, okay, so that's not it. You just kind of have to click around and figure out how the actual illustrators put this together. So let's see. So that's one part of it. That seems to be, so these two, if I hold Shift and just grab these first two groups and move them up. Okay, so that grabs all three of them. So what I can do is just, again, click on these first two groups and then just make a new group. So I can right click on it and do a group selection and call these crumbs like that. And that's it. So now I know at least that this is independent from all of these. So I can just grab from here all the way down and just right click and group again and call this cookie. All right, so now we're nice and organized. We have our crumbs and we have our cookie, and those are the two pieces that we want to animate independently. Okay, very cool. So I'll just leave that like that. And now one important thing is you can go down here and actually you can just right click on this, copy paste as, and you can copy as SVG. Click that. And now you can just go directly back into your code and paste it in there and you are pretty much done. I know this is large, this looks scary, but VS Code has this ability of you just going here and just closing it up like that, okay? So don't really worry too much about it. Okay, so let's start. So I have that copied over. I'm not gonna paste it in yet. I wanna create a div first called cookie container, and hit tab, okay? Let's open this up and here is where our actual cookie goes. So I'm gonna paste it in here and save. All right. Now what I wanna do is just add the classes to it. So we're gonna need to explore in this whole path section where our crumb is and where our cookie is. Now, another cool thing that Figma does is if you hit export here and just scroll down, you can export as SVG. And what you can do here, if you open up, where was it? The three dots here. If you click that, you can do include ID attribute, which exports layers names using ID attributes. So if I click on that and then export it, so okay, that make sure you have that selected and do export, and I'll just save it. I just save it in the same folder. So over at Documents, Cookie Popup, and just save it in there. Okay, so if we look at the Cookie Popup SVG now, look at that. We have cookie. And if we scroll down, we have crumbs. All right, so that's all nice and grouped together. Okay, so now we can just copy this over, and we don't really have to worry about finding the correct path here or shape and just removing it and seeing if it works or not. So now let's just update this. I'm gonna grab this whole SVG, cut it out, paste in this new one, hit save, and let's open it up in Live Server and see if it works. So open in Live Server. So there's our cookie. I'm just gonna quickly open this up in Chrome because I don't like Safari too much. So let me just pull up Chrome here for you guys. There we go, paste, and there it is. Okay, and now we can actually do a little test run to see if the things that we selected are actually correct. I need to stop with this damn, the Mac keeps pulling up this dock and I don't like it at all. Okay, there we go. Let's full screen this. I'm just gonna zoom in here a bit so you can see it. Oh my God, okay. So what I'm gonna do is just go over to the code, close up this message. So let's go up here and remove the crumbs. So click on here where it says G, and that's gonna highlight the end of the group. So I'm just gonna go over here and select this, remove it, save, and just see if it got rid of it, and it did, so it works. Perfect. So I just paste it back and hit save. So again, this is gonna be included. You technically don't need this anymore because we have the code. Now you might be like, why don't we just import, like do an image and do a source of /cookie SVG repo. You could do that. The issue with this is that we cannot animate the pieces individually because we're gonna do some selections on the cookie. Okay, so that's it. That's how you can prepare your SVGs ready to be animated. And you can apply this to pretty much anything out there on the internet. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Let's take a little break here and just trying to get on my second screen to stop the recording and just trying to disguise it. Okay, that's gonna be it for me. See you in the next episode. Let's have some fun.